Hey guys, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. My name is Crown, and today I'm going to read you some very interesting stories that I hope that you're gonna love. And now, without further ado, let's go! This is an old story, but it just popped into my head while I was hunting through videos on YouTube, so I figured I'd post it. This is an old story and I can't remember exactly how all the conversation went, so they are pretty much my recollection. Years ago, shortly after I had left the service, my girlfriend, now wife, and I moved in together, halfway across the US from both of our respective families. Long stories for another time. And to a place where we both had friends as a result of our military travels. One of my wife's friends, we will call her Anna, had gotten married in the intervening years since they had last been together, and was in the process of a divorce since her husband had knocked up the checkout girl at the local orchard. She had left the home, a single white trailer important for later they owned, left the car they owned which she had solely paid for and was still in her name, moved back in with her parents, and got a second job. She already worked at a large big box retail establishment. Of course, my wife and I commiserate with her on multiple occasions about how poorly she had been treated. Anna made a remark at one point about missing her bills that month. My wife asked, "What bills? You live with your parents. You have 2 jobs, no credit card, and you never do anything expensive. What could you possibly owe anyone money for?" It turns out that she still had a checking account linked to her ex-husband's account, and when he decided not to pay the mortgage or the car payment, they simply took it out of her account, marked the loan current, and went on with their lives. Shortly after the divorce, he would make most payments, but for the last year or so, he hasn't made a single one. So ex-hubby has perfect credit because he never misses a payment, and Anna's credit is in the toilet because she's constantly late on her bills. Anna may have 2 jobs and not a lot of bills, cell phone, car payments, and insurance. When she's making someone else's mortgage and car payments as well, she's pretty much broke, and that's why she never does anything expensive and has to have me change her oil in my gravel driveway because she can't afford $20 for Jiffy Lube. I asked her why she didn't close the accounts and go somewhere else. Anna's answer was, "But if they miss their payments, the bank will take their house and their car and they have a baby. I can't do that to them." I did the Forrest Whitaker eye. Then I said, they are taking advantage of you pretty badly. They have established that you will pay all their bills for them, and they can do whatever the heck they want, because you will never force the sale of the house or the car. If I had an option to pay my bills or pass it off to someone I don't like, I'd let them do it every single time. He's paying an electric bill and getting a free house, car, and everything else. And I guarantee you he's handing these bills to the social worker and claiming he can't afford to live, so they will give him WIC, food stamps, and everything else. You're funding the lifestyle of a jerk who cheated on you, and a woman who knew he was married. You see, I may not give a rip about most of the people I know, but you do not screw with my close friends. She gives it some thought and a couple of days later asks for some help out of this. I took her to my bank to get an account the next day. She moves her direct deposit, withdraws her money, and closes her old account. Then next month's ex-hubby's bills do not get paid. We're watching a movie when he calls. She spends an hour in a screaming match with him, telling him to pay his own bills. She has been charitable enough, and he and his new wife can pay for their own crap. Then a penny drops. Remember earlier when I said the house was a trailer? Anna has been paying the mortgage on the trailer, but not the rent for the lot it's on. They never had her checking account. The entitled jerk has been assuming she's been paying that too. She assumed that he had. He hasn't even figured out what's coming yet. He's calling because he's mad she hasn't paid the lot rent in forever, and he's being told to pay up. Move his trailer or they will do it and hold the trailer in arrears until the bill for moving is paid. He's calling to ask her for another $6,000 or they will lose the home they both loved so much. Now, up until this moment, Anna had been this sweet, wonderful gumdrop of a person. The type of person that it should be illegal to slap if they are encountered before 9 a.m. The relentlessly sunny person that you send into the room to cheer up Tinkerbell. For the better part of a year, I haven't heard this woman say a bad thing about anybody. Until tonight. Until this guy called to complain that she had him paying enough of his bills. And she loses her mind. She lights into this guy that he better figure it out, because he's not getting another penny from her ever again. And while he's figuring out who to beg, borrow or steal that money from, he may want to get a little extra since he's about to get the overdue notices from the house and the car too. He starts screaming so loud I can clearly hear what he's calling her from across the room before she calmly hits the end button, flips the phone over, pops the battery out, sits him both down on my table, hits play on the VCR, morphs back into her normally sunny self, and offers to make popcorn. Monday morning, she went to the lawyer, filed a no-contact order, filed for bankruptcy, her credit was already a mess. There were bills her name was on and she didn't want that splatter all over her, and called the dealer that owned her car note, told her she couldn't make the payments anymore, and offers them a voluntary repossession, has them bring out their tow truck, and meets the driver with the keys and the paperwork, signs the forms, asks the driver oh so sweetly to drop her off at her parents' house on the way back to the dealer, and waves at her ex from the passenger seat of the tow truck as he comes running out of the trailer wearing only a towel. Over the course of the next month or two, he lost his job because he couldn't get to work anymore. His wife had to go back to weighing pears at the orchard. Turns out she'd left her job when Anna was paying for everything, and sell his record collection, which was what he'd been spending his money on while someone else was paying for everything. On the bright side, I picked up original vinyl copies of Abbey Road and Yellow Submarine for a total of $5 because his idiot wife running their yard sale didn't understand why the old crappy records were worth anything anyway. And that's how Tinkerbell burned some entitled jerk's life to the ground. Okay, buckle up, this is a doozy. I work for a bed/house sitting company and had a new client on my schedule for 3 visits a day for 2 weeks to take care of a dog. When I got to the house and went in, I saw a kid and thought they must be running late leaving and didn't let us know. So I said hi to the kid and said it's okay, don't be scared, then called out for the parents. The kid said they are gone. I asked what do you mean, and the kid then said I needed to hurry up and make her breakfast and take her to school. I asked again, what do you mean? Where are your parents? She said they are gone on their trip, and again told me to hurry up, cause she's hungry. I asked how old she was, and she said 7. I asked if they left you here alone, and she said yeah. Her mom told her we'd be by in the morning to make her breakfast and take her to school, and in the afternoon to pick her up from school and make her a snack, and at night to make her supper. I asked where Macy is, fake name, the dog, and she said they don't even have a dog. I said when the owner came for the client's meeting and to get the house keys she met a dog. The kid said her mom borrowed the neighbor's dog. Oh my god. I called the company owner and told her what was going on. And of course she was flabbergasted and came over immediately. She tried to get a hold of the kid's parents but they weren't answering their phones. So she called CPS and explained everything when they got there. CPS took the kid, the parents' information and left. The next day the kid's mom called the owner and left a rambling message screaming about how we could turn her kid into CPS and we broke the contract so they are going to sue her for that. And also for the cost of the ruined vacation. The owner called him back and told him our agreement was to take care of a dog, not a kid. And that was illegal anyway. And also borrowing a dog for her to meet for the client meeting was deliberate misrepresentation. So good luck with a lawsuit. She hasn't heard from them since. I guess our pet sitting service was cheaper than hiring someone to watch the kid properly. We still can't understand how this woman thought this would actually work. Alright, so I'm sure most of us have been there. Late teens, early 20s, and showing those oats as the boomers called it. A particularly fine-looking dance partner comes along and all of a sudden you go from doing the waltz with half the town to looking like Tom when he sees the female cat in Tom and Jerry. This wildly attractive and intelligent person has you hook, line and sinker and you're smitten completely. You change path and start talking about how you're gonna start spending weekends at Home Depot and on DIY projects, and your home has furniture for the first time in your life since leaving the nest. Well, here is where this fabulous fairy tale takes a hard left turn right into oncoming traffic. The apple of our eye, you see, has hatched a plan that is, if I have a baby, he is stuck with me. And thus a family is born, replacing her own oral contraceptives with placebos and diligently taking them in front of you. But wait, this is when everything goes to hell and you're now single again. Seeing the kid you were truly tricked into having every other weekend and trying to foster the best relationship imaginable. Eventually it becomes every other weekend and you spend all the time not with your little guy, slaving away at work playing your odds and everything's coming up mailhouse. 15 years pass and you've managed to go from a pizza delivery boy who also bartends a few nights a week to a man who owns 3 very successful businesses as well as other assets. Life is good, another dance partner has come along and shown you the proper moves for a long-lasting do-it. This friend brings us to our present day as our best mistake in life has turned 17 and you couldn't be more proud of that not-so-little sucker as he has grown into such an incredible youngin. You couldn't have dreamt of a better relationship or son. Your son now has a brother that is 14 months younger than him. Your old dirty dancing partner hasn't fared so well in such an open capitalist market and is still living in a lower middle class lifestyle. The shining star of your life has spent every weekend at any night he could after school since he was 12, restoring his first car from just a shell in a junkyard, and it's finally time to head on down to the DMV for tags, title, and a call to dad's insurance. It is the best day of both of your lives as you pull back into the shop so he can bring the fruits of his labor home with him and never ride the bus to school again. But there is a nasty storm on the horizon. Now we're up to our entitled kid and our entitled ex's role in this story. We pull into the driveway the prodigal son in his dreamboat of a 1993 Mazda RX-7. The engine quickly preps away as the 2 liters free router is running better than Usain Bolt after hearing release at Cheetahs. That follows into the driveway of X's house in his 2005 Mitsubishi Lancer Evo MR. Cars are parked and we walk through the door, playing punching each other in the arm as we laugh and chat from pure excitement. As Dad's foot hits the Porsche, the front door bursts open and the entitled kid flies out of the door, shoulder checking his brother as he runs towards the shiny red car in the driveway. Our entitled ex of the story, who's the entitled kid, and the chosen son's mother immediately walks out and looks at the 2 cars in the driveway, and you can tell by the look on her face something must smell horrible within the walls of your long-forgotten castle. The dialogue ensues. By the way, we have the entitled ex, the entitled kid, me, and P.S. our lovable protagonist of the story. He says to his mom, "Mom, remember the car I told you Dad and I have been building forever? It's finally done. We got tags on it and you don't ever have to worry about driving me anywhere again." My ex looking directly at our humble knight. "Why would you give him this car? Is it nicer than mine? How much did it cost? You better have another one for the other kid." The entitled kid says, "Awesome! When will mine be here?" Me? Whoa, wait. I have one child, and he chose this car when he was 11 and we spent almost 2 years finding one to restore. My boy spent almost all of his free time building this car with his bare hands, while I helped and guided him. The entitled kid was even invited to come hang out at the shop with his brother anytime if he wanted to, but has never once came. Then the entitled kid asks, "Can I get a GTR? I really like that silver one from Fast and Furious." My ex says, "You know,
I'm still driving the Miata you bought me in 2005. I need a new car too. P.S. Give me your keys. You're going to be driving my car while I take the new one."
"The heck you are," he tells her. Me and X simultaneously. "Watch your mouth, please."
"How dare you speak to me that way? Now you'll be driving nothing."
The entitled kid says,
"I'll take the Miata until Whip Solo gets my GTR. If PS isn't going to be driving it."
I say PS's car legally belongs to me and is only insured for him or I to drive it. No one will drive PS's car unless it's him or I. No one, understand?
"Well, you better take me to the local BMW dealer and give me at least a used 4 Series if you think I'm letting PS drive this car."
PS finally collecting his thoughts. "Mom, Dad isn't my brother's dad. He's not your husband, and I can't remember a time when he was. That is my car I built with my own hands." He was tearing up at this point. "And I'll just sell it before Dad buys you a new car." Me, proud, concerned, and all around befuddled from these events. I say, "PS, go back a bag or two of all of your important stuff. You can drive to school from my house now, so it's no big deal." The entitled X screamed an absolute boatload of insults, curse words, and demands as we got into our cars and has been texting me non-stop ever since. This happened on Sunday. The entitled kid showed up at my shop last night and wanted to learn the ropes. I had to inform the entitled kid that I wasn't going to be buying him a car, but if he wanted to learn mechanics, I'd be happy to teach him. And when he did get a car, I'm sure both I and his brother would help him do any modifications like he'd like to it. And that also get him parts at wholesale price, 35 to 50% off typically. The entitled kid immediately screamed this is nonsense, kicked in the door of a 2015 Mustang we had in for a camp job, tinting it all to hell and running out of my shop. I've sent an officer to formally trespass the entitled kid from my business and filed a police report and pressed charges on my ex to make the phone calls and texts end. Everyone will get what they deserve soon. To be continued. And now we have reached the end of today's stories. Thank you for watching and see you next time.